When we comment on the quality of an aircraft, we often judge by whether it is equipped with a vector engine. For example, for China's J-20, when it was initially equipped with the WS-10, so many people said it was a fourth-generation aircraft. And then when the J-20 was refitted with the WS-15, everyone changed their opinions. So have you really understood why the vector engine is better than the conventional engine? There are mainly two types of vector engines. The first is the axial-symmetric vector engine. The nozzle can rotate flexibly in multiple directions and can achieve relatively large angles, and a more all-round thrust vector control, such as the Russian Su-57 and so on. The second is the binary vector engine. The nozzle can only deflect into directions, usually in the pitch direction. Such as the US F-22, it can be seen that although both fighter jets are vector engines, the maneuverability of the Su-57 is better than that of the F-22 according to this view, which is drawn from the direction of the vector nozzle. However, even if the maneuverability of the Su-57 is better than that of the F-22, the infrared stealth of the Su-57 is obviously worse than that of the F-22. You can observe carefully that the engine nozzle of the F-22 is wrapped with modules, sacrificing the left and right nozzles and leaving only the upper and lower two directions. This is equivalent to dealing with the heat radiation in the up, down, left, and right directions, and only retains the horizontal heat radiation, and will not spread to the periphery like a circular nozzle. The F-22 can well avoid the detection by ground infrared thermal imaging radar and the infrared remote sensing satellite in the sky, of course. These are all comparisons when the engines are placed at the same level. As for whether the Su-57 has other means to avoid the detection by thermal imaging radar, there is currently no relevant information in addition to enhancing the maneuverability of the craft and enabling it to perform unconventional and difficult maneuvers. The vector engine also has a capability that you know very little about. That is, to achieve short takeoff and landing. Just think about it. For a normal engine, when landing, only the power of the engine can be adjusted. There is always a forward thrust anyway, so a relatively long sprint distance is required. Some even have to open the drag parachute, unless the engine is shut down in the air. As for the consequences, it goes without saying. But for the vector engine, as long as the direction of the engine nozzle is adjusted, in case of danger, it can also adjust the direction for takeoff emergent light. If you don't believe it, look at the carrier-based aircraft on the aircraft carrier. Which one is not a vector engine? Even the US carrier-based aircraft Hornet in the early days, which did not have a vector engine, was also able to achieve short takeoff and landing through special treatment, such as sacrificing the payload and adding adjustable wing sweep angles. And then compare it with the F-35 with a vector engine. The payload is suddenly increased by more than 10 tons. And there is no need to consider the layout of various deceleration plates. This is the awesomeness of the vector engine. What do you say?